And welcome once again to another episode of Stu Him Productions Presents
J&M, Solve the World. I am James.
And I am Matt. And we have nobody with us.
No special guest. It's been a while.
It has.
No. I was trying to remember the last one that we did that we didn't have a special guest or
Reoccurring. Yeah. But you know what? It's good.
Yep.
Tonight, there was so much we covered last week for Gen X, and I think tonight we continue that because there's just so much that we didn't cover.
Yeah, like we were talking earlier today, we didn't even talk about sports.
No.
And all the phenomenal shit that happened sports-wise.
I mean,
during our generation growing up.
You think about it. Okay. The Steelers had the Iron Curtain. Or, I'm sorry, the Steel Curtain.
Steel Curtain.
The Cowboys, even though they hadn't won a Super Bowl, they were America's team.
Well, they won a Super Bowl back in the 70s.
Oh, yeah, I guess they are a 4 or 5.
Five.
Yeah.
5 times.
5, yeah.
But they just haven't won one in over 30 years now.
Yeah. Tom Landry was just, he was a phenomenon on Tom Landry and John Madden.
Yeah.
And with Tom Landry, I was a Cowboys fan when I was a kid back in the very
I didn't know that. We can't be friends anymore.
Late 70s, early 80s because of Tom Landry.
Yeah.
Because he had that fedora and he just
I never was a Cowboy fan, but I always appreciated how good they were in that run,
Yeah. With Roger Staubach.
Right. And Tony Dorsett. But where I became not a Cowboys fan, because I was a Cardinal fan, a St. Louis football Cardinal fan, and they were in the same division, and it always seemed like that the Cowboys put the Cardinals out of the playoffs or whatever. Yeah. But what really done it for me with the Cowboys is when they got Herschel Walker, from the USFL. And it was going to be the double back attack, him and Tony Dorsett. Well, Dorsett wasn't done.
No.
But they got Herschel and Dorsett kind of sat on the bench. It's kind of like, really?
Well, the same can be said about the Raiders when they got Bo.
Right.
The first part of the season, Bo really didn't play because he was still playing baseball. But then as soon as Bo was done with baseball, Marcus sat on the bench.
Marcus pissed the ownership off somehow. I don't remember what that was.
Rumor, speculation, conspiracy, if you will. Marcus was found in
the Cole Brown's bed, wasn't it?
No.
There was that rumor too.
Well, yeah. But to piss off Al Davis, it was like Al's wife.
Oh, yeah.
Allegedly.
For those of you out there, it's not a good idea to have an affair with the boss's wife.
Especially when it's Al Davis.
Or their daughter.
Yeah.
Or, leave work at work.
But, we saw Dr. J, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson,
Bill Walton,
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. We saw Jordan come out of college and transition the Chicago Bulls to not one, but 2 three-peats.
Right.
And, there's speculation that had he not retired,
they'd have probably won 6 in a row.
Or they would have won 8.
8, yeah. That's right, because he went and played baseball for 2 years, wasn't it?
Well, a year and a half.
Yeah.
And the last part of the season when he came back, of course, he was wearing number 45 because they had retired 23. And 45 was his number in high school, I think it was. Because I believe in college, he still wore 23.
Right.
And in baseball, he wore 45. and they missed the Western playoffs that season by a little bit.
They were in the East, weren't they?
Or yeah, the East.
Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Missed the conference. Anyways,
Right.
but then the next year, that would have been 96. Oh, they dominated.
Right.
I mean, they had just added so much talent.
Mm-hmm.
They got Dennis Rodman. They got
Pippen
Pippen had been there.
Right.
You know, and Jordan and Pippen are in my opinion, the greatest duo in basketball history. Followed by, I would say, Kobe and Shaq.
Yeah. Just because of the amount of titles.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Did you? I mean, then you had Karl Malone and and like you say, Kobe.
Yeah.
I mean, and to an extent, we're still alive. So
Yeah.
LeBron James now.
Right.
In the basketball. I mean, and I'm not a big NBA fan, but
No.
those names are hard to not remember.
Right.
I mean,
I can remember.
Everybody, no matter if they watch basketball or not, has seen a picture or a video of Jordan tongue out, dunking over the top of somebody's ass.
Yeah.
I
mean, there was
his dick right in their face. And
yeah. Who was it? It was before Shaq. It was another 7-footer. Was it Olajuwon? No.
Hakeem Olajuwon?
It may have been. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But he had always said that Jordan couldn't dunk on him.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he was there. He was blocking every time Jordan went to the hole, and then Jordan got him.
Yeah.
I mean, just straight stuffed it in his face.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that you didn't do with Jordan.
Right.
You didn't challenge him.
You didn't give him a reason to be pissed off at you.
Right. Kevin Garrett talks about, I think it was Kevin Garrett. Fuck, I think it was. But he was a rookie playing for the Indiana Pacers, and they were doing an exhibition game.
Mm-hmm.
And, Jordan wasn't going full bore because it was an exhibition game.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody got into Kevin Durant.
Grant, yeah.
Yeah. Got into his ear, and it's like, really, man? That's supposed to be the GOAT? Man, he ain't nothing. And he was up, Garrett was up like 10 to Jordan's 2.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the game, Jordan had 42. Grant had 12.
Right.
And the only thing Jordan said to him after the game is, don't talk to Black Jesus that way.
See, to me, that was the difference between Jordan and LeBron.
Right.
Look, Jordan, he would curb stomp you. I mean, he knew, if it was NBA Finals Game 7, you'd have had to shoot him to stop him because he was gonna make it happen no matter what.
Well, but here's the thing: the Chicago Bulls never played a Game 7.
Right, but I mean, in a finals ending game.
Oh yeah, Game 6.
He was gonna turn it up, and he was just gonna curb stomp you.
I mean, fuck, he had food poisoning in Utah, and he still put up fucking 45 points.
Right.
And this is, I'm not going to take anything away from LeBron James.
No.
He is a great player.
But he should have more championships if he'd had that killer instinct. That's the only thing I'm saying.
But the thing is, Jordan built the Bulls.
Mm-hmm.
He stayed with the Bulls, and he made the Bulls as a rookie.
Right.
He made them start fucking working out and doing what they needed to do. Like, as soon as they got cut out of the playoffs, immediately right into the gym.
Right.
I mean, it's like Rodman,
mm-hmm.
the worm,
mm-hmm.
if you will. Yeah, the guy partied. He was a very eccentric motherfucker.
Right.
But right after a game, or during halftime, he's on a bike. Mm-hmm. He's on a stationary bike, and he's fucking going full bore.
Is he still the all-time rebounds leader?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I'm not 100%, but yeah.
Yep.
We saw the very first and only youngest unified boxing heavyweight champion in history.
Yep.
Fucking
Tyson.
Iron Mike Tyson.
Right.
19 years old. You are the baddest man on the planet.
Yep.
You have unified all 3 titles.
Yeah. What is there now? Like 16? There's more than 3 now, isn't there?
No, I think in boxing there's still only 3.
I thought there was, of course, WBC, WBA, and
IWA or IWBC.
IBF or something.
Yeah.
But I thought there were several more.
IBM or
IBM,
I don't know.
Texas Instruments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
The calculator.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. Not even going down the technology road yet.
Yeah.
But sports alone. I mean, we saw
We saw the Miracle on Ice.
Yes.
The 1980 United States hockey team, who were a bunch of college players.
Yes.
This is before they allowed pros in the Olympics. We're a bunch of college players.
It's before the United States allowed pros.
Well, the way the rule read in the Olympic Committee was they had to be amateurs. The way the Russians got away with it was they weren't getting paid to play sports. But they were their professionals because they got their room and board, their food, their training. All that was paid by the government.
Well, okay.
And so those guys were in their 20s and 30s and have been playing forever. And in fact, in an exhibition game before the game started, they beat the United States. I forget what it was. It was like 20-0.
Yeah.
Or something. It was sad. And a lot of people think when we beat Russia that night, that's when we won the gold medal, but we didn't.
No.
We beat Russia to go to the gold medal round and then beat Finland to win the gold medal.
Well, see, and that's the thing is, Canada, of course, they've always had a lot of hockey players playing in the National Hockey League. But in Canada, they were amateurs.
Right.
In the United States, they were professionals.
Well, they weren't playing for the NHL. The Canadian team probably wasn't at that time.
Right.
Yeah. Because they were abiding by the rules, but like the Soviet Union,
West
Germany, Poland.
No, it was East Germany. It was the Eastern Bloc.
It was Eastern Bloc. It was East Germany, Poland, Czechoslovakia, all those. They were all part of pretty much the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
But they had their own teams, but they were the same way. They weren't getting paid.
Yes.
But they were basically professionals, just like they're boxers.
Yep.
And all their other, and that was why, in 76, when Sugar Ray Leonard went on to win the gold medal.
Yeah.
Which was ironically 20 years after Muhammad Ali done it in 66.
Yeah.
But our guys were amateurs.
Right.
And I remember watching boxing back then, international boxing. And of course they had the blue gloves or the red gloves, but they all had the white, and that's how they scored. If that white made contact, they scored it better. But if you were an American fighting a Cuban, and there was a German judge, a Canadian judge, and let's say a Russian judge, that American better knock him out.
Yeah,
because he wasn't going to win anyway. The American judge would, give him all 3 rounds, but the other 2 would give him all 3. I mean, it didn't matter how bad the American whooped his ass. If he didn't knock him out, he wasn't going to win that fight.
Right.
And vice versa.
Right.
If you had a Canadian judge and an American judge, like a Polish judge, that Eastern Bloc guy was not going to win that fight.
Right.
Unless he knocked the guy out.
Okay. The 1980, 76 or 80, Bruce Jenner winning the
76. Winning
76,
decathlon.
yeah, winning the decathlon.
Yep.
And I mean,
and we can call him Bruce Jenner because that's who he was when he won the decathlon.
Exactly. And I mean, he was on Wheaties boxes, and I mean, and it was the bicentennial of our country. And okay, staying on the Olympics, we got to see Oscar De La Hoya win a gold medal.
Right.
We got to see Michael Phelps become the greatest Olympian of all time.
And before that, Mark Spitz.
Yeah.
With 7 titles. And then Phelps just obliterated that gym.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, the man, I think, hang on. Let me go to the Google machine.
To the Google machine?
To the Google machine.
It was, the athletes and like we were talking earlier too, NASCAR.
Yeah.
We've seen all 3 of the guys who have won 7 championships.
Yes.
Richard Petty, Dale Earnhardt, Jimmy Johnson. And like you say, Dale probably should have had 8 and Richard only 6.
Michael Phelps, 28 medals.
Wow. Yeah.
23 of those are gold.
Yeah. See, Spitz, I think he win 7 in one Olympiad?
Let's see here.
Because I remember seeing him on the Wheaties box with all 7 of his gold medals on his chest,
9 gold medals, 1 silver, 1 bronze in 2.
But I think there
Olympic
was one
Games.
that he won 7, if I remember right.
He's an 11-time Olympic medalist who earned a total, blah. Michael Phelps. And, Phelps is a fucking millennial.
Yeah.
He was born in 85.
Yeah, he would be, yeah.
The most decorated athlete in Olympic history.
But as a Gen Xer, we got to see it. So.
Yes. And it's just, there's so much that we got to see. So much that, our generation, at the beginning of our generation, a computer was the size of a room.
Right.
The size of like a 12 by 12 room.
Right.
And now, that's a computer.
And it's more powerful. What is it, 10 times or whatever more powerful than the ones they used to get the Apollo missions to the moon?
Yeah.
And those were rooms of computers.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have more technology on my wrist than they had to put Buzz Aldrin and
Neil Armstrong
on the moon for Apollo 11.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Oh, kind of off the subject. Did you hear that India has launched a rocket that they're planning to land on the South Pole of the moon in the next week or so?
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
I just see that on the news yesterday. I'm like going, we're letting them get back. Let them get there before we get back. What the fuck?
I didn't know India had a space program.
I didn't either.
I mean, I know they had all the customer service for pretty much everybody.
Right. I know they have nukes because they are a nuclear power.
Yep. Okay.
So does that mean when I call customer service, it's going to get beamed to the moon to talk to Hapu?
That'd be fucking awesome. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So, customer service, how can I help you? Say, man, how's the weather up there? Oh, it's very cold. Oh, wait. It's very hot now. No, it's cold now.
Oh, no. My name is Dan. Yeah. I am in New York.
I'm in New York.
We got to see one of Major League Baseball's rivalries, one of the biggest rivalries, bring baseball back to America's pastime.
Right.
The Chicago Cubs and the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yep. The home run race between McGuire and Sosa.
And I don't give a shit if there was human growth hormone. No, because
androstenedione, I think, was what they found in Mark's locker, but you could buy that at GNC at the time too.
Exactly.
And it wasn't illegal in Major League Baseball either.
Exactly. And the reason why it was such a big deal when McGuire broke Roger Maris's record, because it had sat for 30 plus fucking years.
Yeah. Well, and what's his name done it last year broke the American League record.
Aaron Judge.
Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
So how long had that been since an American League guy hit, Roger Maris? That was still his record in the American League.
Yeah. He was a Yankee when he broke that record.
Yeah.
But the reason why it was such a big deal for St. Louis is Maris retired as a Cardinal.
I forgot about that, yeah.
But it was just because going into the season, going into the home run race, it was Ken Griffey Jr., Sammy Sosa, and Mark McGwire.
Mm-hmm.
Now, McGwire won a gold medal in 1980 with the American baseball team.
Okay.
When he was in college.
Yeah.
And then, of course, he went to Oakland. He was part of the Basham brothers with Jose Canseco.
Right.
And he went from Oakland to St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
And the St. Louis fans greeted him with open fucking arms.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, they named a restaurant. It wasn't McDonald's at Busch Stadium. No, it was McDonald's.
They were just talking about that on the news the other day. Big Mac Land was not named after McGwire. But he hit a lot of home runs there, and it just kind of tagged him, too. Yeah. It was Big Mac Land. Everybody was like, oh, that's McGwire's. And it's like, no. It was Big Mac Land before, but.
It wasn't like McDowell's.
Right. They have the golden arches. We have the golden arcs. They got the Big Mac. We got the Big Mick. There you go. Another classic movie coming to America.
And
we didn't even mention. We got Trading Places in, but we didn't get Coming to America.
And comedy changed.
Oh God, yeah.
Stand-up comedy changed. I mean, some would say that it became more vulgar.
Yeah. Well, and some of the funniest ones out there to me are like the blue collar guys.
Oh God, yes.
And on that particular tour, they weren't what you call vulgar. Now you watch Ron White specials lately, yeah. But what all of them, it went from guys just telling one-liner jokes.
Yep.
To guys just telling stories about their lives.
Right. And
there ain't a person out there that can't listen to a Jeff Foxworthy and go, I know I've got that relative.
Yeah. Exactly.
Or I've seen that guy at the family reunion or whatever.
When George Carlin changed and he started being more of himself. Right. That's when I think comedy really took a turn to more of the story. Richard Pryor.
Richard Pryor, I was going to say, live on Sunset Strip, telling a story about how he set himself on fire.
Yeah.
He said, what was it, homogenized milk and some 2%. When I dipped my cookie in, the shit blew up.
Yeah.
But, everybody knew he was talking about freebase cocaine.
Mm-hmm.
But.
We had Richard Pryor. Mm-hmm. You had Steve Martin.
Oh, yeah.
Eddie Murphy.
Fuck.
We had Cheech and motherfucking Chong.
Oh, fuck yeah. And Eddie's talked about, he said, maybe I need to do another stand-up. He said, because when I done my stand-up specials, he said, all I'd really done in life was fucked and took a shit. So that's what I told stories about.
Yeah. And he did great impressions.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Delirious was just that.
Yeah.
Fucking delirious.
Yep.
And I mean, he was, what did he say, 19, 20 years old when he did that special?
22, I think. Because I think that's part of the bit. He's like, I'm 22 now. I know how to fuck. Because he's talking about, when you're 18, you're just surprised you're getting some pussy.
Yeah. Damn it. Come on, Google.
Yeah, that he hasn't done a stand up in 40 years. Of course, he's doing quite well with the movies and everything.
Yeah.
He done a little stand up at what was that award he won here?
Oh, yeah. Let's see here. That was the original release on that was October 15th, 1983. Wait, that's Wikipedia. I don't want to fucking look at Wikipedia. Eddie Murphy was all of 19 when he was cast on Saturday Night Live in 1980.
Okay. So 21, 22 years old then.
Okay, let's show along with all the original cast members. Murphy and Joe Piscopo were the only members of the 1980 cast to make it to the 81 season. In the middle of his SNL tenure, one marked by a series of blah 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 blah. Okay, whatever. Oh, okay. It doesn't say how old he was.
Well, if he was 19 in 1980.
Yeah. Okay.
And then it came out in 83, so he'd been 22.
Yep.
And then Raw came out in 87.
Yeah, probably.
85, 87, because I remember I was married to or dating my first wife at the time.
Yeah.
Because we seen that in the theater.
Right.
But he had one before Delirious that was just out on cassette tape, where he talks about getting run over in New York City. And the one guy that didn't see shit, but always claimed he seen everything. He's, oh yeah, I was walking down the street, minding my own business, right? I just walked down the street, minding my own business. This dude kept walking out the Carvel ice cream store. And these two West Indians come screaming around the corner in the GTO.
Yeah. Okay. We saw the greatest pitcher of all time.
Yeah, Clemens.
No.
Oh,
Nolan Ryan.
Nolan Ryan. Okay.
Now,
Just testing you there.
okay. Now, granted, Nolan only had one World Series championship with the Mets back in '68.
You're just saying that because he can still throw 80 miles an hour at 80 years old.
Well, I mean, he did throw out a first pitch at like 75 and 85 miles an hour.
Right.
But he's got more strikeouts than anybody. More fucking no-hitters than anybody. I mean, Randy Johnson, which, of course, the only pitcher to have a confirmed kill that didn't go to jail.
Look that up on YouTube. Randy Johnson hits bird.
Oh, my God. The catcher, like, turned back to the umpire and was like, what's that call?
Yeah.
But see, and that's the thing. Randy Johnson was a lot like Nolan Ryan. Because when Randy first got into the major leagues, he was a wild pitcher. Nolan Ryan was a wild pitcher when he was with the Mets.
Right.
And it wasn't until he went to the Angels did they actually have a pitching coach work with him.
Right.
And, of course, Nolan Ryan was the first professional athlete in history to get $1 million contract. When he signed with the Houston Astros.
Yeah.
The Astros, just like the Angels and the Mets, the Astros let him go because they thought that he was done. And it was with the Rangers, because, I mean, it was with the Rangers that he threw number 7 no-hitter. His 5,066th fucking strikeout. And Nolan was the type of pitcher that if he didn't pitch a whole game, he wasn't pitching.
Right. That was kind of like, I'm drawing a blank on his name now. He pitched for the Cardinals back in the 60s.
Yeah.
And you might get a home run off of him, but your next time at the plate, he was getting one in the ear hole. I mean,
okay, there was that fight.
Oh, yeah.
With Nolan Ryan.
Yeah.
And that picture that made the cover of Sports Illustrated because batter rushed the mound and Nolan just started fucking beating his ass.
Right. And
I think Nolan got like a bloody nose or something.
Yeah.
And he continued the game.
Yeah.
Didn't clean up. He said, fuck that.
Most pitchers nowadays, if they'd hit somebody, they'd be like, oh, I can't pitch for a month now.
Yeah.
My hand's all swollen.
Oh, my hand hurts so bad. And it was Nolan Ryan, much like, another athlete that we're going to talk about here in a second, Nolan Ryan was chasing Sandy Koufax.
Mm-hmm.
And, Nolan Ryan was taken in, I'm wanting to say like the 6th round of the Major League,
Right. Which they had
draft.
They had 50 back then.
Yeah. So, I mean, it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6th round of 50, that's pretty good.
We got to see the greatest quarterback in NFL history. And I don't give a shit.
Him or not.
Yeah. Like him or not, there's no denying that Tom Brady.
There's this new kid, though, that he's on pace to break every record Tom Brady's ever done.
Yeah, he lives right up the road.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, he lives in the same county I do.
Yeah.
Just built a huge fucking house with everything that he ever wanted.
I couldn't believe that they were showing the stats
Yeah.
for their first however many games it was.
Mm-hmm.
Mahomes got 2 Super Bowl rings.
Yep.
2 Super Bowl MVPs.
Yep.
5 AFC championship appearances.
2 NFL MVPs.
2 NFL MVPs. Yep. And I think Brady had 1 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
But,
in the same amount of games. So
right. Brady.
Just hope that Reed doesn't retire anytime soon.
Right. But Brady didn't really break out of his own until he was in his 30s.
Well, yeah, when they really started. But I mean, his first Super Bowl, he was a rookie.
Yeah.
And the only reason he got to play in that game was because Drew Bledsoe got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And Brady got him to the playoffs, which
Yes.
I think they were a wild card, if I
Yeah.
remember right. And then, let's see, I think he won the wild card game, and then he got dinged up in the AFC championship or the conference game before or something like that. And Bledsoe ended up winning that game, but then Brady was able to play
right
either in the conference championship or the Super Bowl.
Right.
And so he got to play because he got him there.
Wow. Had it almost like Bill Belichick saw what happened in Kansas City years prior and said, hey, we're not going to make that mistake and let this great quarterback go to one of our rival teams.
Yeah. The Rich Gannon.
Rich Gannon.
Elsker Buck.
Elsker.
Yeah.
Marty Ball.
Yeah.
And
he went on to rival and kick their ass every time they played.
Yep. During Gannon's tenure in Oakland, 3 AFC championships, or I'm sorry, 3 AFC West championships, 1 Super Bowl appearance, and I'll say this until my dying fucking day.
Yep.
Had any coach other than John Gruden been on the opposite side of the field than the Oakland Raiders.
Yep, because he knew every move they were going to make.
The Raiders would have had ring number 4.
Yep.
And Tampa Bay would only have 1 ring.
Yep. That's probably true. But, like the great Lynn Dawson said, if ifs, ands, and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas.
I gotta agree. I gotta agree.
Mm-hmm.
We saw the emergence of some of the greatest guitar legends
Oh, yeah.
of all time.
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix.
Mm-hmm.
Page was with Cream and the Yardbirds.
Yardbirds.
But it was Zeppelin that really fucking broke him out.
Well, if you look at the 3 guitarists that played for the Yardbirds, you had Eric Clapton.
Yep.
You had Jimmy Page.
And Jeff Beck.
And Jeff Beck. Not all at the same time, but all 3 of them guys
Right.
came through the Cream route,
Right. Hendrix had a big influence on Eddie Van Halen, which had a big influence on Randy Rhoads, which had Eddie and Randy had a big influence on Dimebag, and
Oh, yeah.
fucking, we saw.
What was that? Was that you telling me that, or was it something I watched on YouTube? They were talking about the influence of Eddie Van Halen on other guitar players.
Mm-hmm.
His influence was so great that he even influenced guys to not play like him.
Yes.
So it's like, you're just copying Eddie Van Halen. So they purposely tried not to sound like Eddie Van Halen because Eddie Van Halen was that big of an influence on everybody.
Right. Now, I know when Dime was competing in guitar competitions in Texas, and when everybody knew that he was serious, is when he knocked out Eruption.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Because nobody was able to do that.
Right.
But during that summer, fucking Dime was practicing 8 to 12 hours a day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know,
I just watched an interview with John 5, and basically he still does that every day.
Yeah.
He wakes up in the morning, grabs his guitar, then goes sets on the shitter.
Yeah.
You know, Dime had a
4-track.
Had a 4-track in his shitter.
Yeah.
And they're like, going, why you recording in here? He's like, this is where I write my best stuff. That's why it's the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it's...
Unfortunately, I've had this thing called work I have to go to.
Yeah.
So I don't get to practice 8 hours a day.
Right.
I guess I could, but yeah.
When would you sleep?
Yeah. And then the
Old
home
man.
life would be.
Yeah. You wouldn't have a happy marriage for the last 20 plus years.
Right.
I'm just saying.
So there's Aiden's booming going on.
Okay.
If that picked up on the microphones.
I don't know. You know, we got to see the first hard rock album debut at number 1.
Yep.
Or reach number 1, I should say.
Reach number 1, yeah.
Reach debut.
Yeah, I think
Quiet Riot.
Metal
Come
Health.
on, Feel. Yeah, Metal Health.
Yep.
We got to see the first metal album debut at number 1.
Mm-hmm.
And the heaviest album ever to debut at number 1.
To this date.
And that's Pantera's Far Beyond Driven.
Yep.
Now, it only lasted there a couple of weeks, but they still debuted at number 1.
How many of these
on Billboard's top 200
How
albums.
many great bands have you seen? They say, well, their best chart-topping album was number 22 in Billboard's top 200.
Yeah.
Whatever. No, they debuted at number 1.
Right.
You know, but that just shows you what kind of
influence
that Cowboys from Hell and that Vulgar Display of Power had, because everybody was so, we got to hear what's next.
Right.
That as soon as it was released, everybody went out and bought it. Well, not everybody, but enough to put them at number 1.
Yeah.
You know?
And I mean, you know, Metallica's Black Album.
Mm-hmm.
Big influential. I mean, it's their biggest commercial success. It's
number 2.
Yeah.
Behind Garth Brooks.
Right. and that's the thing, is the Black Album is certified diamond.
And see, that was a bad thing for metal fans back then. You know, there's great albums, and it was always number 2 or something behind Garth Brooks or Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
At that time, it was kind of like being a great basketball player during Jordan's era.
Oh, right.
You know,
right.
You're going to get mentioned in the conversation, but
yeah. I mean, had Magic and Bird and Patrick Ewing, you know, if they had they not had careers on their own, especially with the 92 Dream Team, which is something else that we got to see. We got to see the first professional athletes play in the Olympics.
Right.
Because...
And then we proved to the world that, our basketball players whoop your ass.
Oh, yeah.
How professional your ex-Soviet Union guys are.
Right.
You're not beating our pros.
Yeah, no. Because, you know, Jordan, biggest competitor. I mean, they were playing an exhibition game. Mm-hmm. And you had Magic on one side and you had Jordan on the other.
Yeah.
And Magic started talking shit because Jordan was just like, just half-assing it. Mm-hmm. And then Magic started talking shit. Jordan took that shit to heart.
Yep.
And he became fucking, he became Air Jordan.
Yeah.
I mean, so much so that Spike Lee, I mean, there was a whole character. The whole, I want to be like Mike.
All right. Yeah.
The commercials with Michael Jordan and Michael Jackson.
Right.
Jordan teaching Michael Jackson how to shoot basketball.
Right.
And Michael Jackson teaching Jordan how to fucking moonwalk and dance and shit. I mean, these were commercials.
Yeah.
The emergence of fucking Nike.
Yeah.
Had it not been for Jordan, because he wore Adidas.
The Chuck Taylor's going, fuck.
Yeah. He wore Adidas in college.
Yeah.
And his agent, I think it was, brokered the deal with Nike.
Speaking of Nike, maybe the greatest golfer to ever play, Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods. The
I mean,
first.
yes, he has it. And he's probably never going to beat Jack Nicholson's major record.
Right.
But still.
The first African American to be able to play in the PGA.
Yeah. Well, I think he was the first to play the PGA. Look it up. I don't think he was the first. He might have been the first to be able to play at the Masters.
To the Google machine.
You could be right. I don't know. I can't.
Who
I'm trying to think.
Was the first African American to play in the PGA? Damn it. PGA. There we go.
In the PPG?
1961, Charles Sifford became the first black golfer to earn a PGA Tour card. He won the 67 Greater Hartford Open Invitation and the 1969 Los Angeles Open. Okay. God damn it. I got fat fingers.
But in Tiger's prime,
yeah,
that guy, I mean, you go into the final round and he's wearing his red shirt, you're not going to beat him.
On April 10th, 1975, 41-year-old Lee Elder became the first black golfer to play in the Masters, considered the most prestigious event in the sport.
Mm-hmm.
Elder shot 37 on the front and back 9 for a 74 of the Augusta National Golf Club and trails leader Bobby Nichols by 7 strokes.
Yeah.
But, Tiger was the first to really, in modern era,
mm-hmm.
if you will, to open the eyes to non-golfers.
Oh, yeah.
To golf.
You could probably ask any sporting goods store, when did your golf equipment start selling? And it was after Tiger Woods.
Right.
Because it made people go, well, shit, this is kind of fun to watch. Maybe I need to start playing this game.
Okay. Venus and Serena Williams. With tennis.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and
especially Serena. I mean, my God.
These weren't Lilith tennis players.
This wasn't like Biffy and Buffy and...
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, these were fucking like John McEnroe became black, grew hair, a big booty, and became a woman.
Right.
Because, I mean, Serena and Venus were hardcore tennis players.
Of course, you mentioned McEnroe. We got to see McEnroe and Jimmy Connors and the great matches they had.
Got to see Andre Agassi.
Yeah. Yeah. And
the movies.
Got to see Billie Jean King whoop a guy's ass in a tennis match.
Yeah.
Because he was
talking mad shit.
And she's like, all right, I'll play any game.
Yeah. I mean, I
didn't realize she was still alive until I seen her. They were showing her she was at Wimbledon Billie Jean King.
You know, we've mentioned this several times on the podcast, and we're going to mention it several times more. I guarantee it. But we got to see one of the greatest scenes in comedy.
Oh, yeah.
Got to see Jamie Lee Curtis's boobs.
Yeah.
In Trading Places.
Trading Places.
Call me a, a sexist pig. That's something that we haven't really done here. But
I honestly think that would turn some women lesbian and some gay men straight just to watch that scene.
Oh,
I mean,
well, and here
and it wasn't. There was no gratuitous sex or nothing. It was just her boobs. Just
and like she said, because in the movie she played. She played prostitute.
Yeah.
And she was telling Dan Aykroyd that the rent is the only thing that gets paid there.
No, it was the rent's not free and these aren't either, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I forgot there was words during that scene.
Right. But, on the like the 30th anniversary or whatever of the movie, watching the special behind the scenes stuff with John Landis and Dan Aykroyd, and when they got to that scene, and they both just went.
I mean, another movie we talked about last week, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Phoebe Cates.
Oh my God.
Very nice. But I'm sorry, Jamie Lee.
Oh.
Still number one.
Oh, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. We got to see okay, so the boomers and the silent generation had the Universal monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Those were the horror movies of the time.
Right. They're Dracula.
Yeah. The Wolfman, Creature from the Black Lagoon. Frankenstein, The Mummy.
Mm-hmm.
We saw the emergence of the actual slasher horror movies.
Right, yeah.
Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger. And it's...
Those are the big three. You just...
Right.
I mean...
Well, and if you think about it, Freddy Krueger
that whole genre, though, there was lots of... If you go back and watch Friday the 13th...
Yeah.
Pretty freaking low budget.
Oh, yeah.
I mean...
Yeah.
The special effects were pretty good, though.
Yeah. For
the time, I mean, it looked like that freaking machete just split that guy in half who was walking on his hands.
Right. If you're able...
And lots of nudity in the first two.
Yeah.
The third one, with the prettiest girls...
Yeah.
No nudity. Like,
I mean, Nightmare on Elm Street was a brand new concept. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a scary guy going around killing people.
Right.
Like Jason or Michael. No, this guy attacked in your dreams.
Right. To the point where the kids didn't want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
They were taking basically amphetamines to try to stay awake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like poor Johnny Depp.
Oh, man. 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
3, 4, better lock your door. 5, 6, grab your crucifix. 7, 8, better stay up late. 9, 10,
never sleep again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
In any movie.
Yeah.
That's got little kids doing jump rope and singing that is creepy on its own.
Yeah. The reason why Gen X is afraid of clowns. Poltergeist.
Yeah.
And the original It.
Mm-hmm.
Because unlike the
miniseries.
Right. unlike the movies.
Or was it?
Yeah, it was a miniseries.
Yeah, it was like.
But the movies, the clown was pretty scary to begin with, his makeup. But Tim Curry playing the clown in It,
Right.
the miniseries, because he looked like Bozo or Cookie or, Ronald McDonald.
Right.
And that's...
Of course, Bobcat's clown parody movie.
Oh, my God.
Shakes the Clown.
Yeah. But, I mean, killer clowns from outer space.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I would 100% say it's Poltergeist and It.
Yeah.
Is the reason why a lot of Gen Xers are scared of clowns.
Yep. Kind of like was it the Abigail makes people scared of dolls? Or Annabelle?
Annabelle, yeah.
Annabelle, yeah.
Of the porcelain dolls.
Right.
But then you get to the end of that movie, and you find out that it's a Raggedy Ann doll.
Mm-hmm.
How many girls in Gen X had a Raggedy Ann doll?
Oh, yeah. Lots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had better toys
Oh.
than the previous generation.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Transformers.
Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Fucking Mask. Now, you guys, the older Gen Xers, you had G.I. Joe.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't have G.I. Joe like the younger Gen Xers had.
My G.I. Joe had actual fuzz for hair and
Right.
a beard. It wasn't that hard plastic shit like came on later.
Yeah, well, my G.I. Joe had
I-
a 6-foot long fucking aircraft carrier.
Well, I had a helicopter and a Jeep.
My-
And a little diving propulsion thing
Yeah.
that actually took batteries in it, and
Yeah.
you could hook G.I. Joe up to it, and you could put him in your bathtub. And
Right.
it had goggles and a tank and the whole 9 yards. I had a $6 million man.
So did I.
Come with his own spaceship.
Yep.
That opened up into a repair.
Yeah.
You could
And you could look through the little hole in the back of his eye, and it was a little
like little
magnifying glass
telescope. Type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Had the button on his back where
Yep.
he raised his arm.
Yep.
Yep.
My younger brother had the aircraft carrier.
Mm-hmm.
My mom found it at a garage sale,
Mm-hmm.
and he was able to sleep on the flight deck. I mean, because the aircraft carrier was 6 foot fucking long,
Right.
and my little brother was able to sleep on the fucking flight deck.
I could have brought my helicopter over and landed on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it was big enough to where
My
if you had the ship, the jet,
Uh-huh.
it could land.
Right. My helicopter, it had a button on the side.
Yeah.
You'd push it, it made the rotors go.
Yep.
And it had a little crank hoist.
Yep.
That you could drop down and you could hook on the G.I. Joe and crank him back up to the helicopter and shit. We talked about the Rubik's Cube was a huge phenomenon in the 80s.
And it's made a huge resurgence
Yeah.
with everybody trying to beat time.
Of course, the advent of like we talked before, the video game.
Oh, my God.
The video arcade was just, like I
Oh.
say, that was, everybody loved to go to the Battlefield Mall.
Yeah.
Go to Aladdin's Castle.
Yeah.
Video arcade.
Right.
I mean, and that was the greatest thing for parents, too,
Yeah.
because they could take their kids there,
Yeah.
give them a pocket full of quarters,
Yep.
and they could go shopping. And guess what? Those kids weren't going to be anywhere else but inside that arcade.
Or give them like $5,
Mhm.
and you go in there to the change machine.
Well, you
and
go
get your
there
quarters.
and get your tokens.
Yeah. Tokens.
Yeah, because
And
in fact, I'm surprised I haven't found it in our
yeah.
massive bedroom deal we're doing right now. But I used to have some Aladdin's Castle tokens.
Yeah.
They were like little gold tokens.
Yep.
Yeah, but they go there and buy you that, and they could go do their shopping and not worry that you were going to be out on the street or anywhere else but that arcade.
Right.
Because
You could get drinks at the arcade.
they
You could
literally-
get snacks at the arcade.
they literally had to drag you out when they were done shopping.
Yes.
It's like, we got to go. It's like, I got 2 more tokens.
Yeah. I'm next on this game. Where I
Hang
grew
on,
up.
I'm about to get the high score.
Yeah, where I grew up in Illinois, our mall that we had there had an Aladdin's Castle.
Mm-hmm.
And my friends and I, we would always go in there, and you'd play games, and then we would walk out of the arcade, walk down a small hall around, like basically going on the other side of the wall, if you will, to Baskin Robbins.
Right.
And get the free samples, and then we walk across from Baskin Robbins to Mr. Music. That's where all the records and the CDs. CDs were brand new, but it's where the records and the cassettes were.
To remember what the name of that was.
Posters.
The one in the mall was at Battlefield. Can't remember the name of the record store now.
Yeah.
But it was because Aladdin's Castle, when you walked in to that entrance, was to the right. This was the food court.
Yeah.
And then you walk across the food court, there was a Chick-fil-A.
Yep.
And then over here to the left was the Cinema 8.
Something like that, yeah.
6 or 8.
Yeah.
There was movie theater there. I mean, food court right there. And then I think, God bless it, I'll remember it later, but I can't remember the name of the record store. But like I say, you walk in there, and it was freaking LPs.
Oh, God, yes.
All through the middle and everything, and the deals was LPs. And then usually the cassettes were up on racks on the wall.
Yep.
And that was, when we were doing that a lot, that was actually before CDs.
Right.
But, yeah, it was, the people socialized.
Oh, yeah.
They weren't ordering shit off Amazon, which I'm guilty of. I order a lot of shit off Amazon just because I'm antisocial anymore. I am and I'm not. I'm very social. I can talk to anybody.
Right.
But just going to the grocery store.
Yep.
Or going to Walmart, or there's a lot of people that, because I swear everybody talks about the zombie apocalypse. It's already here.
Yeah.
Because all you got to do is go to the store and you see people walking around going, it's like, pick some fucking hot dogs.
Yeah.
Get out of my way. I know what I want.
Do you want regular hot dogs? Do you want bun length? Or do you want the kosher ones?
I seen a lady at Woods one time. It's been the last couple of years. And I'm watching her, and she's sitting there, and I'm going to get some John Morel's or Bar S, cheap hot dogs, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm watching her, she's staring at them, and she's looking up and down. And she picks up a package, and she looks at it. Okay, if you're thinking about your health, read the ingredients, but if you're thinking about your health, why are you buying hot dogs? But neither here nor there. She puts it down. She's looking. She grabs the same package, and she looks at it again. Now, this lady didn't look like a tweaker.
Okay.
She didn't look like a homeless person. She was just pretty nice, probably late 50s, early 60s. Looked like she might have just come from church.
Okay.
Type dress. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But she couldn't figure out what package of hot dogs she wanted. I finally said, excuse me. She's like, huh? And I grabbed my 2 packages of hot dogs, and I left, and I went on down the aisle, and I looked back, and she was still standing there staring at the freaking hot dogs.
Maybe she was high.
She could have been. Maybe it was the first time. Maybe somebody gave her an edible, and I don't know.
Didn't explain to her that you're only supposed to take a little bit of it?
And you don't want to go out?
Yeah.
Don't take this in public?
Right. Okay. Speaking of which, Cheech and Chong.
Oh. I mean, up in smoke.
Nice Dreams.
Nice Dreams.
Next movie, the Corsican Brothers.
That one wasn't my favorite one.
No, but it was still.
Things are tough all over.
Yeah.
Where they're driving the Cadillac across country, and they don't realize there's millions of dollars underneath the driver's seat.
Right.
Because it had the fifis.
Yeah. Cheech went on to do a quote-unquote straight acting career. Nash Bridges.
Right.
Quentin Tarantino movies. Because, I mean, it's like...
Pussy, pussy, pussy.
Come on in, pussy lovers.
We got black pussy, white pussy, yellow pussy. We got hairy pussy. We got smelly pussy.
We even got chicken pussy.
Tonight at the Titty Twister, we got a penny pussy sale. Buy your first piece of pussy at regular price. Get your second piece for only 1 penny. If you can find a better deal on pussy than that, fuck it.
But you know, and I mean, it's like.
And he played 3 roles in that movie.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah.
He played the cop at the border
Patrol.
He played
The Barker,
the vampire.
Yep.
And then he played the guy that Seth was supposed to go meet.
Yep.
Goes, what the fuck's up with this place? He goes, I don't know. It's as good as any.
Yeah. But I mean, there for a while, Robert Rodriguez, you know.
Oh, and you already said the name.
Quentin Tarantino. Oh, yeah.
Fucking just, I mean.
Yeah. Okay. How
could you? And he says he's making one more movie and that's it.
Yep.
I hope he's wrong, because Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh my God.
Probably his best work yet. I mean,
it's like
anytime I back when I still had DirecTV or whatever, but if I'm flipping through, if I see it on freaking Paramount or Netflix, I'm probably going to watch it.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's like, I've only seen this 50 times, but fuck it.
Right. Okay.
Of course, Margot Robbie's in it. So,
before you light your cigarette,
okay,
we're going to take a moment here.
Uh-oh.
And we're going to try something new.
Uh-oh.
Something that neither one of us have done. This is the Sheepdog Peanut Butter Whiskey. It is 70 woof.
I mean,
70 proof.
70 proof.
Yes. Now, I've never had it.
I've never either.
I can't get it open.
That's what I hate about these little bottles. You're like,
there we go.
They come with a pair of pliers.
Yeah, no shit. My brother's had it, and he says it's good.
Really?
I never have.
Do you trust him that much? Shall we smell it first or just do it? Okay.
Nope. So, salut.
Salut. Peanut butter or butterscotch?
I'm thinking more butterscotch.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
It's
I first thought peanut butter, but then after it kind of sits there, I'm like, it almost tastes like a butterscotch candy.
One that's been sitting in your grandpa's pocket all day at church.
After he took it out of his mouth and put it in his pocket because his wife said, you can't have that in your mouth in church.
Not bad.
Not bad.
But
that was a little harsh on the.
Yeah.
Grandpa had already sucked on it, but might be better cold.
Could be. But
I don't know that I would want to sit around and drink a glass of it on ice.
No.
But until I try it cold, I can't really say I wouldn't.
It's not the devil's double.
It's not.
It's not a Gavaro.
It's not a Gavaro. You can sit there and pour that over ice, and because I've done that here on the podcast.
Yes.
It's not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Okay. Back to the continuation of Gen X.
Gen X. Gen A.
Oh my God.
I mean, Forrest Gump.
Tom Hanks. 2 Academy Awards.
I think we mentioned him
for Best Actor in a row.
Yeah.
Philadelphia and Forrest Gump.
Mm-hmm. I think we mentioned him last week in our review of great actors and stuff that we grew up on. But
and that's the thing is he started off in comedy.
oh yeah,
Bosom Buddies.
right. His first movie I know of is Bachelor Party, right?
Splash. Big.
Wasn't Bachelor Party first?
I think Splash was
Splash first
because Bachelor Party was a breakout.
Yeah. Splash was pretty big.
Yeah. Big. Joe versus the Volcano.
Dragnet.
Oh, yeah.
With Dan Aykroyd.
Yep. Playing Joe Friday.
Yep.
He was the straight man in it.
I mean, movie-wise, yeah. But it was pretty funny.
Turner and Hooch.
Oh, yeah.
You know, one of my favorite Tom Hanks movies, and it's not really a Tom Hanks movie, but That Thing You Do. Because he did it after Forrest Gump.
Okay.
He's the record manager, executive, whatnot. You got the 4 kids. They've got that thing, the song called That Thing You Do. They were the Wonders, but they spelled it O-N-E, so it looked like the O-Neaters.
Right.
And that's the thing is those kids actually played those instruments, and they played that song. They practiced to play that song. And, you know, they learned to play like a couple other songs, but...
Of course, look at one of his latest movies, Elvis.
Oh, my God.
Playing the Colonel.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean...
we've got Castaway.
Oh, Jesus. Wilson!
Then what was the one where he plays the Eastern European that gets stuck at the airport?
Terminal. The Terminal.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, because he doesn't have a passport.
Right.
And they can't let him out of the terminal.
Right.
He can't go back home because they're in the middle of a war.
Right.
And it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
he meets this girl and they become a thing, and she don't know he lives there until later on.
Right. You know what? I think we have we've pretty much covered a lot of the stuff that we didn't cover last week.
Right.
With Gen X. And, you know, we've had our liquor review.
Our review, yeah.
Yeah. On a something that neither one of us have had.
Maybe we ought to try some snack reviews.
Oh my God. I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to listen to a podcast where people are.
Yeah, true. Snap a Slim Jim. Yeah.
The Macho Man. I don't know if you know this or not, but yeah.
You kind of get that macho look.
You know, I'm trying.
Yeah.
Now, granted, the Macho didn't have a long beard, but I got a lot of bald spots, and I've got somebody.
That's something we haven't even talked about.
Wrestling.
You
know what?
I mean, the explosion of wrestling in the 80s through the 90s.
How about we do that in an after dark?
All right.
Because we haven't done that in a long time.
Right.
And then we can just really go off the fucking rails.
There you go. So stay tuned.
Yes.
Not literally, because you actually just click on this to watch it, but yeah, look for the J&M Solve the World After Dark, talking
about Gen X.
Continuingly
talking about Gen X.
The wrestling.
Yeah. But you have just watched and listened to another episode of Stu Ham Productions Presents
J&M Solve the World. I have been James.
And I have been Matt. And until next time, you keep one fist in the gold, one foot in the gutter, and we will be seeing you.
Peace.
If you like what you hear during the J&M Solve the World podcast, that's a band called Blindside out of Southwest Missouri. Their music is used exclusively by the J&M Solve the World podcast because, well, James and I were part of the band. If you would like your own copy of Blindside's Want You Some, Get You Some, with their hit songs 12, Engine, and FU, send a self-addressed stamped CD mailer to J&M Solve the World, 2120 East 342 Road, Halfway, Missouri, 65663. And if you would like it signed by the 3 surviving members of Blindside, just include $5. But until next time, you keep one fist in the gold, one foot in the gutter, and we'll be seeing you. Thank you.